Morality. There's been many arguments regarding morality over time. One of the ones I want to deal with is the concept that morality is an absolute thing, and hence must have been handed down by something else, that humans couldn't come up with moral systems on their own. If we look into the world, though, look at different cultures, we find that there are no absolute moral systems. Some systems have overlaps. Some are almost entirely opposed to another. But from culture to culture and from subculture to subculture, morality differs. That right there falsifies the concept of absolute morality. In America, honor killing would be considered an evil and immoral act. Outside of America, in other cultures, such as some of the Islamic subcultures, and I'm not saying all Islamic cultures, but some subcultures of Islam, honor killing is a morally righteous act. Because of the fact that different cultures have different moral views, you can say that the hypothesis that absolute morality exists has been utterly falsified. So we have to look elsewhere for morality. In my view, and in the view of, I would guess, probably several others, morality is derived directly from our evolutionary heritage. It's basically a game theory. When you have social animals that learn their social behaviors, and we're not talking animals that learn social behavior, we're not talking animals that have social behaviors that are innate due to instinct, but animals like humans and gorillas and chimpanzees and others that learn their social behavior. Moral systems develop to keep those social animals and those groups together. If morality didn't exist, these groups would fall apart. And with the falling apart of these groups, the species would become extinct. So morality has a very strong selective pressure. And we look at humans as being the only animal with morality. That's totally false. All animals that have learned social behaviors have moral behaviors. Chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans, they all show different levels of morality in their interactions with others. Chimpanzees have been known to help other chimpanzees, share food with other chimpanzees, to punish other members of their tribe that have acted deceitfully. Even the vampire bat has this egalitarian morality where you can, if you don't feed, your neighbor will feed you. But then when you're asked to feed another, you must feed them. If you don't, then eventually you become shunned by the group, and if you don't feed, you starve and you die. Very strong selective pressure for morality. So in an evolutionary sense, moral behaviors have developed over time through cooperation. The more a group cooperates, the more they trust each other, the better they're likely at surviving. Morals develop to enhance this survival technique. So evolution does account for morality completely. And the concept of absolute morality is falsified by the world we live in. You would have to ask yourself, if you believe in absolute morality, why is it your moral system that's the right one and not another group's? However, if you accept morality as being a derived characteristic of our evolutionary heritage, then you can look at all these other groups and say, well, that's just a variation on the moral system. So, we can understand why it exists like that. Now, for the future, morality is something we have to be careful with. We're living in a world now that is more interconnected than it has ever been, which means that the people we have to deal with socially are not just our neighbors, are not just those a few miles away, but with people on the other side of the world. So morality has to change to accommodate that. With the ability to wipe out humanity, or at least come very close to wiping out humanity with a war, these moral systems will have to become able to support this greater interconnectedness of our species. If it doesn't, well, we will become extinct or be knocked back quite a bit. So I feel that our moral evolution has not yet come to an end. Once it does, then perhaps you could point out and say that there are absolute morals, because most people share the same morality. But right now, it's totally falsifiable. So those are just some of my thoughts on the moral issue. That absolute morality is falsified, and that an evolutionary view on the development of morality can be, in principle, proven or disproven, hence it's falsifiable, and we already have evidence supporting it, that morality is derived through evolutionary means. So this is a video to basically argue against absolute morality and to show that evolution does have an explanation for morality. And I'm sorry if it wasn't all that in detail, and I may be rambling a little bit because I'm just going off without a script, but those are my ideas. Thank you.